Hello, my name is Brennan Smirbeck. I'm the VP of Technical Services at BCI Computers.
And I'm Jameson McKay, the VP of Training at BCI Computers.
This is our free HIPAA seminar. This seminar is available for everybody at no cost via our website. Now, in this presentation, we're going to be going over three main acts. This is HIPAA, HITECH, and the Omnibus rule. HIPAA stands for the Health Information Portability and Accountability Act of 1996. Now, these three acts were enacted in 1996, 2005, and September of 2013, respectively. The Omnibus rule passed in 2013 is the most recent change, and it was a large change. Now, the three acts all fall under the realm of, security and standards set for protected health information. Protected health information is any health information or identifiable information of or pertaining to a patient or any worker in the medical field.
On top of security, it also revolves around the privacy of the communication between the patient's covered entities and business associates. Now, you may not recognize those last two terms, but be sure to go over them in very few minutes.
Exactly.
Now, one of the main parts of HIPAA is the fines, the liabilities, and the breach notifications of a violation or a suspected violation.
Exactly. This is the stuff that people want to know, and so we've included a brief overview of these in this free presentation.
Yes. Now, there are many keywords that come to HIPAA, just like any other law, a lot of keywords. Now, as I mentioned before, there are covered entity and business associate. Now, covered entity is any entity that falls under the category of a healthcare provider, health plan provider, or a clearinghouse.
Exactly.
Anybody, because they are your information. They have access to it, they use it, they can sell it, they can do whatever they want. So they're a covered entity.
Exactly. The more formal definition is it's any person or business that is in direct access and uses protected health information.
Now, a business associate, they're very similar to a covered entity. They are not the same thing.
Exactly. A business associate is not always a covered entity, but a covered entity is always a business associate.
Yes. Now, that's a good thing to remember. Business associate, it is anybody that has access to your information that does not fall under the category of a covered entity, such as a janitorial service,
exactly,
after hours, or anything
exactly.
like
They
that.
have access, but they're not actively using that information. Now, they have to sign an agreement to work with you, right?
They do. That's called a business associate agreement. Very original. And what it does is it stretches a liability out to both parties rather than just have it be on one party and have them be liable.
Exactly. It means that the business associate, that both parties have agreed and said that they're both going to be compliant in protecting protected health information, which is our next keyword, PHI. Like I said, it's any information of or pertaining to a patient or a worker in the medical field, anything that can be used to identify a person, or just any information based on, their medical records or charts or anything like that. Now, this data, this protected health information, it's either in two states. It's either at rest, which means that it's stored on a server, a backup drive, a computer, or it's in the office, it's not moving, or it's data in motion. Data in motion can be multiple things. It can be faxing information, it can be talking on the phone, it can be sending an email, or even just verbally communicating. That data is being transmitted and it is in motion. Now, this data has to be backed up, and so lots of the time you're going to hear bi-coastal backup or co-location backup.
Yes.
That means that it's stored either both on the east and west coast of the United States. Now, for co-location, this falls under the more specific definition of the standard you need to back up your data. The distance between two storage facilities has to be greater than the diameter of whatever natural disaster is most common in your area. That means for the northeastern region of the United States, that's the nor'easter, the large storm system. Now, it has to be farther than the diameter of two of those put side by side, so you can see why the bi-coastal is the most common form of backup. Lastly, encryption is a really important keyword. It comes up all the time. Not a lot of people understand what it is. It's a system to protect your information, and it does that by scrambling the information based on an algorithm that uses a password of your choice. So using a password, it mixes it up so you can't know what it is unless you have that password.
Now, as I mentioned before, the breaches and fines are a very big part of HIPAA. Now, there are 4 different tiers. I'm going to begin to go over them now. The first tier is when you did not know, you were uninformed about it, and there was really no way of you knowing it.
But you're still exercising reasonable diligence to be compliant. This is for a compliant office that something happened to.
Yes. Now, these violations start at $100 per violation, going up to $50,000 per violation.
Exactly.
But we rarely see them skyrocket like that in this tier. Now, the second tier is considered reasonable cause, which is really when you weren't informed of it yet, but you should have known, but they'll still give you a tiny break on it, which
Exactly.
these will start off at $1,000 up to $50,000 again.
Now, tier 3 and 4 are all based on willful neglect. That means that you knew you were violating one of the acts and you chose to. You did not choose to exercise any sort of motion to correct it initially. Now, if this is corrected when an auditor comes in, you're facing a fine that starts at $10,000 and goes to $50,000. However, if an auditor comes and you do not correct that violation, it starts and ends at $50,000. Now, all these fines can add up to a grand total, and now this, take a note, does not include legal fees or any other sort of, extraneous fees. Those actually are separate, and we've seen them skyrocket then higher than this price. So the maximum fine you can face is $1.5 million per year, and we say per year because this can roll over between years depending on how long things happen. So this is crippling to a business, and that's why we really, really have to enforce being compliant, because it can cost you more than you can normally expect. Now, to be compliant, the most important thing is, and the first thing you're going to be giving to your auditor is your HIPAA book, your handbook. This is a guide that you have in your office that states that you are compliant in everything that you're going to do to be compliant. All your practices, all your policies, all your procedures have to be in this book. Luckily, BCI Computers offers a book like this that we'll be talking about in the next slide.
Yes. Now, on top of having a handbook and everything, you need to have some physical security, whether it be locks on your computers, locks on your doors, locks on your windows, file cabinets. It can easily be as simple as rearranging your computer so nobody can see it from the waiting room or any other area in the office.
Exactly. Now, in addition to physical security, there's technological security. This falls under encryption, passwords, as well as policies for those passwords and for encryption. This is all the data that's stored on the system. That's all the EHR, all the electronic health records.
Yes. Now, the third type of security that you're going to need is communication security. Now, this is either verbal communication, email, text messaging, or even faxing. Now, verbally communicating as we are right now, if we were in a medical situation, we would have to be extremely careful of what we say and what we let go, or what we let out of our heads.
Exactly.
Now, email is the same way. Very few email providers are compliant enough to be able to be used to send PHI and certain things. Same with text messaging and faxing.
Exactly, and now also included is annual training. Your staff has to be trained annually. Well, not annually. It says that you have to train once every 2 years. However, we recommend annually because you see acts such as the Omnibus rule, which comes out in 2013. You don't want to miss that, so annual training is great. In conjunction with that, you need to be practicing drills and running tests of your procedures and your disaster recovery plans to make sure that they're working correctly. Now, the great thing is that BCI Computers offers a complete HIPAA compliance system. Now, this includes our 24-hour, 7 days a week, 365 days a year HIPAA compliant solution for all systems. This is a monitoring system that monitors your servers, your laptops, your desktops, your smartphones, and makes sure that there are no breaches of HIPAA compliance. If there is, you're notified. In addition, like I said earlier, we have a book that was published this year. This book covers everything your practice needs to do to be compliant. It has all the background information. It has what procedures you need to do. It also includes a copy of the HIPAA final rule, so you can reference that when you're making your office compliant.
And on top of the compliance services, now this is our free training that you're viewing right now. This does not count as a training session.
Absolutely not.
Sad to say. But we do have 3 levels of training. Staff training, which any member of the staff can take. Practice owner training, which is more likely for either a doctor or the practice manager. And then we have our compliance officer training, which is mandatory for at least one person in your office. And usually what we see is either the practice manager or the head doctor take it because they're the one that are going to be the go-to person for everything HIPAA in your office.
Exactly. Now these are available on demand online, also live online, and if you're within the region, we also offer in-person training sessions, and we offer discounts for groups and associations.
Yes. Now, with this training, we also have a forms packet.
Yes.
Now, it's a packet full of, I believe it's 38 forms total.
It's a lot of forms.
Yeah. But it takes all the time off your hands. It's got policies for your employees, policies for your patients, and it's got logs for your computer use, phone use, anything you need to track your compliance.
Exactly. Also included are the agreements that you might need or any notices that you might need. Now these are customizable, meaning that we put your company name, your phone number, your fax, your address, and the name of your compliance officer. These are your forms to own. These are the forms that you're going to be using in your office. When an auditor comes, these are the forms that you're going to be showing them. Now, if you want to get any more information about these, if you want to ask us about anything, if you want to purchase any of these solutions, either in group or individually, we ask that you visit our website at www.bcihipaa.com. Thank you very much.